Imagine you're living a completely normal adult life. You wake up, go to work, worry about money, maybe question your life choices a little. Basically a standard Monday. Now imagine that suddenly time rewinds and you're back in elementary school. Same classroom, same classmates, same math homework. Except this time, you remember everything because you're actually a 29-year-old adult trapped in your kid body. That's basically the life of Satoru Fujinuma, the main character of Erased. And trust me, his story goes from kind of weird to extremely stressful very quickly. So Satoru is a struggling manga artist. And when I say struggling, I mean really struggling. His manga isn't getting published, his career isn't going anywhere, and he's working part-time delivering pizzas just to survive. Not exactly the glamorous anime protagonist lifestyle. But Satoru has a very strange ability. Whenever something bad is about to happen nearby, like an accident or someone getting hurt, time suddenly rewinds a few minutes. He calls this ability revival. It's like the universe pressing the rewind button and saying, "Hey Satoru, you missed something. Try again." For example, if a kid is about to get hit by a truck, time jumps back a few minutes and Satoru suddenly feels like something is wrong. After a bit of searching, he figures out what's about to happen and stops it. Which sounds cool, right? Except Satoru doesn't control it. It just happens randomly. And honestly, it mostly just makes his life more confusing. Things stay like this until one day his mother, Sachiko Fujinuma, comes to visit him. Now his mom is one of those people who notices everything. You know the type. Nothing escapes their attention. While watching the news, she starts connecting some suspicious details about a kidnapping case, and you can almost see the moment when she realizes something important. Unfortunately, someone else realizes that she knows too much. One day, Satoru returns home and finds something that instantly destroys his world. His mother has been murdered, and to make things even worse, the police quickly suspect him. From their perspective, it looks like Satoru might have done it. Panicking, confused, and completely overwhelmed, Satoru runs outside trying to escape the situation. And that's when his strange ability activates again. But this time, something different happens. Instead of going back a few minutes, he goes back 18 years. Suddenly, Satoru wakes up in his childhood bedroom. He looks in the mirror and realizes he's a kid again, around 10 years old. Same small body, same school uniform, same classmates. Except now he has the mind and memories of his 29-year-old self. Which means he has to go back to elementary school, while secretly being a full-grown adult mentally. Imagine sitting in a classroom doing multiplication tables while thinking about rent, taxes, and your failed career. Yeah, not exactly normal. But soon, Satoru realizes something important. When he was a child, there were a series of kidnappings and murders in his town. Several kids disappeared. One of them was a quiet girl from his class named Kayo Hinazuki. Back then, nobody managed to save her, but now Satoru understands why he was sent back. He's here to change the future. If he can save those kids, especially Kayo, then maybe the chain of events leading to his mother's death will also disappear. So Satoru decides his mission is simple: save Kayo. But there's one big problem. Kayo barely talks to anyone. She's extremely quiet, distant, and always alone. Most of the other kids ignore her, and some even bully her. At first, Satoru doesn't understand why she behaves this way, but slowly he discovers the heartbreaking truth. Kayo's home life is terrible. She's being abused by her own mother, which explains why she's always cold, hungry, and withdrawn. And suddenly, the situation becomes much more serious. Kayo doesn't just need saving from a future murderer, she needs saving from her present life. So Satoru begins spending more time with her. They talk during school, walk together, and slowly build a friendship. At first, Kayo doesn't trust him at all, which honestly makes sense. If a random kid suddenly started acting like your emotional support therapist, you'd probably be suspicious too. But gradually she starts opening up. For the first time, someone is actually paying attention to her, and little by little, she begins to smile. But Satoru knows something terrifying. He remembers the exact time when Kayo disappeared in the original timeline, which means every day is basically a countdown. So he starts planning carefully. He makes sure Kayo isn't alone. He invites other friends to join them. He keeps her surrounded by people as much as possible. Basically, he turns into a 10-year-old bodyguard. Meanwhile, Somewhere in the background, the real killer is still watching. The scariest part is that the murderer might be someone they already know, someone who seems completely normal, and if Satoru makes one mistake, everything could go wrong again. Finally, the critical day arrives, the day Kayo was originally supposed to disappear. The tension is huge, but this time things go differently. Through a lot of effort, planning, and support from his friends, Satoru manages to save Kayo and prevent her disappearance. For the first time, it feels like the future is actually changing. But saving Kayo doesn't end the story, because the real culprit behind the kidnapping still hasn't been fully exposed. And now that Satoru has interfered with the past, the danger begins shifting toward him. Eventually, after a series of intense events, Satoru ends up falling into a long coma. Years pass. When he finally wakes up, the world has moved on without him. But the story isn't finished yet, because even after all that time, the truth about the killer still needs to be revealed, and Satoru will have one final chance to face the person who caused everything. At its heart, Erased isn't just about time travel or mystery, it's about regret. It's about the idea that sometimes we wish we could go back and fix the mistakes we made. Satoru actually got that chance. And instead of using it for himself, he used it to save someone who had almost lost all hope. Which leaves us with a simple question. If you suddenly woke up in your childhood again, with all the knowledge you have now, what would you change?